Late at night, I came across a post. My girlfriend used to be extremely sensitive and suspicious. After we broke up and got back together, she never doubts me anymore. Is she just pretending to be understanding? The username and avatar were painfully familiar. Before the breakup, she was always paranoid, constantly suspecting the women around me. Even if I came home a little late because of overtime, she'd throw tantrums nonstop. I understood that she lacked a sense of security, so I always tried my best to tolerate her. But some time ago, she suddenly asked to break up. After the poster finished recounting his entire history with his girlfriend, the comments began siding with him. With such a good boyfriend, what exactly is she making a fuss about? Girls like this love drama. She's probably still sulking and pretending to be mature, waiting for you to regret it. Exactly. Isn't that how every chasing your wife in the crematorium story goes? I had been back together with Bruno for a week. I fixed every flaw Bruno used to dislike about me. Drama, suspicion, sensitivity. But now, faced with such a perfect girlfriend, Bruno had started becoming paranoid instead. Chapter 1. I put my phone away just as Bruno got home from work. He tossed his coat onto the couch. The smell of alcohol mixed with perfume rushed toward me. There was also a lipstick mark on the coat, no idea whose. I frowned and shifted farther away from him. Bruno hurried to explain. We had a business dinner tonight. I brought a few female interns, no idea whose lipstick rubbed onto my clothes. My expression stayed calm. Got it. I'm going to sleep. He grabbed my wrist and sighed, his voice full of exhaustion and helplessness. What I said is true. I even have the restaurant receipt. Bruno probably thought I was sulking. I gently removed his hand and smiled. It's fine. I believe you. You said it yourself. What couples need is trust. When I turned and walked away, Bruno's face was filled with shock and blank confusion. I don't know how long it was before Bruno pushed open the bedroom door and lay down beside me. He hugged me from behind, his warm breath brushing against the back of my neck. I rolled over to escape, but Bruno pressed close again and tightened his arms. His voice was muffled. Luna, stop it, okay? I really was out entertaining clients tonight. Those female interns aren't very familiar with the business yet. Bruno noticed I wasn't responding. He tested the waters, calling my name a few times. The only reply was the shallow rhythm of my breathing. The next morning, after my usual run, Bruno came out of the kitchen carrying freshly made breakfast. You're back? Breakfast is ready, I replied casually. I already ate outside. Bruno stiffened. Didn't you see the messages I sent you? I paused, then shook my head and made up an excuse on the spot. My phone was on silent when I went out. I didn't hear it. After thinking for a second, I added, you don't have to make breakfast for me anymore. Don't let it delay your work. Bruno's lips tightened. He didn't say anything. That was how Bruno looked when he was angry. I didn't understand. Wasn't what I said considerate enough? I didn't bother trying to figure it out. I changed clothes and went to work. When I left, Bruno was still sitting at the dining table, staring blankly at the already cold breakfast. At the office, that post had been updated. She's different now. She used to love eating the breakfast I made. Now she doesn't seem to care at all. She doesn't even reply to my messages instantly anymore. I come home late, and she accepts all my explanations without a single complaint. Someone commented, the breakup probably taught her a lesson. She's afraid you'll dump her again. I opened Bruno's Weibo. His special follow list had only one person. He hid her extremely well, so well that even when I demanded a breakup, I couldn't find a single trace of her. The only flaw was this account. After Bruno and I got back together, that account had gone silent for a while. But this morning, it updated. A photo of the ocean. If I were buried here, would you remember me forever? I put my phone down. Half an hour later, my phone rang. Luna, the company suddenly sent me on a business trip. I won't be coming home tonight. When I didn't respond, Bruno chuckled lightly. What? Are you jealous again? I knew you've been acting so well behaved these past few days just to. I believe you. This time, Bruno went silent. The call stayed quiet for a long while before he hung up. I felt inexplicably puzzled. I booked a high-speed train ticket to the neighboring city and asked my company for leave. Bruno hid her well, but once emotions run high, people always slip up. Chapter 2. Bruno and I got together in college. Bruno treated me well. When my first company withheld my wages, he insisted on helping me fight a lawsuit for an entire year. When I got into a car accident, he shielded me with his body. I only suffered minor scrapes, while he ended up with multiple fractures all over. Bruno's social media was filled with me. Everyone around us knew how good he was to me. But then, one day, Bruno came to pick me up after work. The moment I got into the car, I sensed the front passenger seat had been adjusted. No one ever sat in Bruno's passenger seat, so even the slightest change in angle, I could tell. I tested him. Did someone sit in your car today? In the passenger seat. Honestly, if Bruno had just made up any excuse, I probably would have believed him, because even I thought Bruno would never cheat. But Bruno's face stiffened. He frowned and looked at me. Are you suspecting me? I froze. His reaction threw me off completely, but Bruno took my silence as confirmation. Luna, if you can't even give me the most basic trust, then I don't think there's anything I need to explain. We didn't say a word the whole drive. We cold warred for 3 days. I didn't know whether Bruno had actually cheated, but I understood one thing. A guilty person is the one who gives themselves away. From that day on, I became even more sensitive. I started suspecting every anomaly around Bruno. His early departures and late returns, the unexplained perfume scent on him, and the way I could never reach him when I was sick with a high fever. All of it became ammunition for fights. One more argument over Bruno coming home late, and he slammed the door and left. Before he went, he looked at me with crushing disappointment. Luna, how did you become like this? You're acting like a lunatic. Not long after Bruno left, one of his buddies called me sis-in-law. You really wronged him this time. He came home late tonight because he was picking out a gift for you. Did you forget tomorrow is your birthday? I froze, suddenly remembering when Bruno came home. He'd shoved something into the cabinet by the front door. I rushed over and rummaged it out. A handmade ring. Bruno had always known I loved jewelry in different styles. On the phone, his buddy kept defending him. He even took a full day off today to go to a cake shop and make you a cake by hand. He wanted to surprise you tomorrow morning. But then, sis-in-law, have you been feeling emotionally off lately? Maybe you should go to the hospital and get checked. Was I being too sensitive? Was it my fault? Was something really wrong with me? My gut told me it wasn't like that. Bruno was the one with a problem. But the last shred of my reason crushed the surging emotions back down. I went to the bathroom and stared at my haggard face in the mirror. And I told myself that, actually, everything had a reasonable explanation. Maybe the passenger seat was adjusted when he went out entertaining clients with his boss, and his boss moved it. Maybe the perfume scent came from a new female coworker, just happened to rub off on him. Maybe all those late nights were just sudden overtime. That night, I found reasonable explanations for every point I had ever used to suspect Bruno. Early the next morning, I carried the cake and went to Bruno's company, but Bruno wasn't there. I called him. No answer. Standing downstairs, I typed a long message, about to send it to him. Then a Weibo notification popped up. Bruno and I barely used Weibo. I'd almost forgotten we even had accounts and followed each other. Bruno had liked a girl's profile. She had a decent following. What she posted most often was couple life content. I scrolled through her latest photos, trying hard to ignore the suspicion rising again in the depths of my chest. I went home. There was nothing strange about it. He just liked a post. But I never sent the message I'd typed. I waited for Bruno all day, from daylight into night, until the cake completely melted. Bruno finally came back. He still kept the Cold War attitude with me. I was about to lower my head and apologize, when I noticed the coat he tossed aside. A pale yellow, slightly curled strand of hair, and a smear of foundation on the black overcoat, stood out with brutal clarity. That hair looked painfully familiar. The girl Bruno followed had the same kind of hair. Chapter 3. I took a taxi to that stretch of sea. The driver even asked if I was going on a date. That's Lover's Sea. If a couple goes there together and makes a wish, they'll end up together. End up together. I rolled those 4 words around in my mouth and laughed. Staring out the window, I said softly, I'm not going on a date. I'm going to catch someone cheating. The car fell into silence. When we arrived, The driver glanced at me a few times, hesitating, then still offered a word of comfort. "Miss, please don't do anything impulsive." I nodded. No one understood better than I did what it meant to learn from pain. I walked to the shore. With just one glance, I saw the two figures leaning against each other. I found a spot not too close and not too far, sat down, and took a photo with my phone. I studied the girl carefully. Back when Bruno and I fought the worst, I had imagined countless times what his cheating partner might look like, what it would feel like to see her for the first time. But now that I was really seeing her, I felt nothing at all. Why did you even get back together with her? You kept dragging things out before because you were afraid of gossip, but this time she was the one who asked for the breakup. Why did you go back to her? The girl's eyes were swollen. She must have been crying for a long time. Bruno had probably been coaxing her for a while too. His tone was already impatient. "Luna is pregnant with my child. Everyone who knows me knows about it now. I have to take responsibility for her. Otherwise, if word gets out, would I even count as a human being? Olivia, you were never this unreasonable before. What's gotten into you?" Olivia looked up in disbelief. "What did you just say?" "Bruno, you have to break up with her. If you don't, do you believe I'll go straight to her and make a scene?" The next second, a slap landed on Olivia's face. Bruno's expression was dark. "If you dare do that, go ahead and try." I posted a moment's update visible only to Bruno. The photo was taken in the obstetrics and gynecology department of a hospital. Before, I always needed someone to accompany me to the hospital, but now, being alone actually feels fine. From my corner, I watched Bruno's expression turn complicated. Then he shoved the girl away and hurried off. Ever since I noticed that strand of hair, I had gone through the girl's Weibo thoroughly. She had posted about perfume her boyfriend gave her, the same scent Bruno had that night. She had posted about riding in her boyfriend's passenger seat on a day trip. The car model was the same as Bruno's. She had posted about her boyfriend accompanying her to ride the Ferris wheel at night, on the exact nights Bruno came home late. I even discovered that Bruno's so-called morning runs were actually him driving her to work. And I just wanted one breakfast he made with his own hands. And I was accused of being dramatic and throwing tantrums. "Luna, I have a 30-minute commute every morning. How could I possibly have time to make you breakfast? Can't you be a little more considerate? Aren't you afraid I'll be late and get scolded by my boss? Why are you always so selfish?" In Bruno's eyes, I was worthless, selfish, dramatic, suspicious, and sensitive. Those were all labels he stuck on me. I asked Bruno for a breakup. I didn't have concrete proof of his cheating. I hadn't confronted his affair partner directly. It was too impulsive. Before leaving, I questioned him, but he said, "Luna, don't you think this situation happened because of your problems?" I shared my reasoning with a few friends. They said I had lost my mind. "Bruno loves you so much. How could he do something like that? Besides, do you even have direct evidence?" Right. Bruno was so devoted. How could he cheat? I fell into a long period of self-torment, repeatedly wondering if I had actually gone crazy. Did Bruno really cheat? Or was everything just my imagination? A week after the breakup, I found out I was pregnant. My parents urged me to reconcile with Bruno. Even they didn't believe me. They thought I was being unreasonable, that I had caused everything by making a fuss. During that time, I broke down emotionally again and again. I made countless mistakes at work. My life was a mess. I went to the hospital alone and had an abortion, dragging my body, so painful I could barely walk. I sat on a bench in the hospital hallway. I suddenly felt how ridiculous I was. In this breakup, I was the victim. I was the one most hurt. Yet I was also the one who took the most blame. Some people even pitted Bruno for having a girlfriend like me. So when I unexpectedly ran into Bruno at the hospital, pale-faced, I grabbed him. "Bruno, I'm pregnant." We got back together. Chapter 4. Less than 2 hours later, Bruno rushed back in a hurry. "Luna, I'm sorry. I've been too busy lately. I forgot today was the day to go with you for the prenatal checkup." He looked utterly exhausted, clearly having spent a great deal of effort soothing Olivia. He handed me the gift he bought for me, a diamond necklace. I quietly put the necklace away and shook my head. "It's fine. Your work is more important." Bruno pressed his lips together and pulled me into his arms. Luna. I'm sorry. Sorry, for what? Exactly? I suddenly felt nauseated. Bruno's phone rang. He glanced at it and immediately hung up. The moment he hung up, it rang again. Bruno shut the phone off completely. Why didn't you answer it? I asked. Telemarketers. If this had been before, just that excuse alone would have been enough for me to start a fight with Bruno. But now, I only hummed in response and didn't ask any further. Seeing that I had no reaction, Bruno hesitated before asking, You believe me? I smiled. Of course, I believe everything you say. When you no longer care, the truth of the words stops mattering. Why have you suddenly become so well-behaved? I looked at him like he was insane. Isn't it good to behave? Didn't you always complain that I was sensitive and suspicious? That I annoyed you? Isn't this better now? Bruno frowned deeply, yet couldn't find a single flaw in what I said. He spent the entire day with me, just like when he first chased after me. He tried carefully to please me. He went with me to try desserts, helped me pick new necklaces, even accompanied me to do handicrafts I liked most. The dessert shop owner was my senior from school before I left. He even gave me a few extra cakes he just developed. I smiled as I accepted them and chatted with him for a bit, completely ignoring Bruno's increasingly dark expression. On the way home, Bruno seemed to sulk, not saying a single word. It didn't matter. I turned around and posted our photos from today on Weibo. That night before bed, Bruno's phone was flooded with calls again. He went to the living room. Through the door, I could hear them arguing. I spent the whole day with her today. But don't forget, she is my girlfriend. What's wrong with me spending a day with my girlfriend? Enough. Stop being unreasonable, Olivia. Don't you think you look like a crazy shrew right now? That scene reminded me of the countless times Bruno had said similar things to me after our arguments. When Bruno saw that I was awake, a flash of panic crossed his face. Did I wake you up? Just now. That was. I cut him off before he could finish. No need to explain. I believe you. His expression shifted from shock to something ugly. What? I frowned, feeling irritated. I said I believe you. Go to sleep already. I'm really tired. The next second, Bruno grabbed my wrist tightly and yanked me onto the bed. I struggled. But in his panic, Bruno kissed me forcefully. He only let go after I bit his lip until it bled. No, this isn't right. You weren't like this before. Luna, you were never like this. Do you really believe me? Luna, do you still love me? His barrage of questions left my head spinning. I tried to break free, but Bruno's grip was strong. His breath made me sick. With all my strength, I shoved him away and slapped him hard across the face. I looked at him coldly. Bruno, you need to calm down. I'm going to sleep in the other room. As I stood up, Bruno grabbed my hand again. Luna, do you still love me? Have you fallen for someone else? Was it the male coworker who drove you home the other day? Or that senior who runs the dessert shop? Like a madman, Bruno kept repeating the question. Luna, do you still love me? I shoved him away, my heart full of disgust. Bruno, does asking these questions even mean anything? If you don't have even the most basic trust, then no amount of explanation from me will matter. Bruno's face gradually turned pale, satisfied as I watched his expression slowly crumble. I got up and went to the other bedroom. I had just lain down. My phone lit up with an incoming call. I answered. The girl's voice was both familiar and strange. Hello, I'm Olivia. You're Bruno's girlfriend, right? Let's meet. Immediately after, she sent me a photo, a picture of her lying in bed with Bruno. Chapter 5. Early the next morning, Bruno got up early and waited for me. The dark circles under his eyes proved he hadn't slept well at all. When he saw me awake, he hurried over and grabbed my hand. Luna, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it last night. I was too impulsive. I brushed his hand away, gave him a cold glance, said nothing, and left. At the agreed meeting place, Olivia was already waiting inside the cafe. I sat down across from her. Miss Olivia, I hope you understand that using photoshopped pictures to provoke someone's relationship is incredibly childish. Olivia had put on meticulous makeup, yet it couldn't hide the exhaustion on her face. Clearly, she hadn't had an easy night either. Hearing my words, Olivia let out a cold laugh. Whether it's photoshopped or not, you're free to have someone verify it. Of course. I also have much more evidence here. Want to see it? What do you mean? Olivia seemed very pleased with my reaction. She smugly took out her phone and showed it to me. Her gallery was full of sweet photos of her and Bruno. Every single one. I had already seen them on Olivia's Weibo. Luna, you don't seriously think Bruno loves you so deeply that he can't live without you, do you? He's been with you for 5 years, but he's known me for 10. I'm his junior from high school. I've liked him since then, and I decided long ago that it had to be him for the rest of my life. Her voice carried a sharp, sugary edge. Do you know when the first time between him and me was? It was on your 4th anniversary. I comforted him the entire night. For that, I really have to thank your unreasonable tantrum. I remembered that day. Bruno forgot our anniversary. He said there was an urgent overtime assignment at work and he simply forgot. But it was just an anniversary. Even if he'd gone out then and there to buy me a gift, or sincerely apologized for forgetting, I might not have cared. What turned my grievance into anger was Bruno's complete indifference. We had a fierce argument. I even threw the cake and gifts I'd prepared straight into the trash right in front of him. Luna, when will you finally understand that we're both adults now? These childish anniversaries aren't suitable for us anymore. Do you have any idea how exhausting it is to rack my brain preparing gifts for you? Planning where to take you for anniversaries? Do you know how exhausted I am every single day? So that was when it started. I couldn't help admiring how skillful Bruno was, and laughing at how stupid I'd been back then. I hadn't noticed anything at all. If time hadn't passed and Bruno hadn't grown careless, I might not have discovered it until there was no turning back. For the past year, he's complained to me countless times about your drama and your constant suspicion. Olivia paused deliberately. Luna, don't you think you're a failure? You managed to make a man who once loved you so much grow utterly sick of you. Her eyes were filled with smug satisfaction, as if she had won Bruno effortlessly in this contest. I looked up and met her gaze. There was none of the heartbreak or devastation she expected. Only calm, composure. Miss Olivia, is this all you called me out for? Olivia froze. What? I deliberately placed my hand over my abdomen and smiled. I think you already know, I'm pregnant with Bruno's child. At the end of the day, a child needs a family, doesn't it? I heard from Bruno that he's about to be promoted to general manager, a future full of promise. Of course I won't give him up. Besides, he's at a critical stage of promotion. He definitely won't let a scandal about cheating with a mistress break out. You know very well how much he cares about his reputation. I stared at Olivia's face, watched her expression shift from disbelief to distortion. I stood up, raised my hand, and slapped her across the face. Miss Olivia, a mistress is still a mistress, don't you think? After leaving the cafe, I wandered outside until late before heading home. By then, Bruno was already sitting on the sofa waiting for me, his expression grim. You're back so late today. Where did you go? I frowned. Of course I was at work. Where else would I be? Bruno suddenly exploded. You're lying. I went to your company today. Your coworkers said you took the day off this morning. He lunged forward and grabbed my wrist. Say it, where did you go? Why are you back so late? Why did you lie to me? I looked calmly at the furious Bruno and suddenly felt incredibly refreshed. I shook him off. I went to see a friend. Then why lie about going to work? Why come back so late? What were you doing with them? His rapid-fire questions genuinely started to irritate me. Bruno, you're really annoying. Do you know that? What are you suspecting? We've been together for 5 years. If I wanted to betray you, I'd have done it long ago. Why would I wait until now? Bruno froze completely. I clicked my tongue, grabbed my coat, and walked out. Calm down. I'm staying out tonight. The moment I closed the door, I almost couldn't suppress my laughter. So this is how it feels. Throwing Bruno's own words back at him feels amazing. Chapter 6. For 2 consecutive days, I didn't go home. Bruno kept sending me apology messages. I didn't reply to a single one. In the end, he couldn't hold back and came to wait for me downstairs at my office to apologize in person. He had deliberately gone to the mall to pick out a necklace I'd admired a long time ago. spending most of his savings on it. I examined the necklace carefully. The emerald gemstone was stunning, rich in color and flawless. Bruno hurried to apologize. I'm sorry, Luna. I lost control before. I was too impulsive and shouldn't have doubted you. Can we go home now? I quietly put away the expensive necklace and dismissed Bruno with a cold tone. There's a new hire joining today. We're having a team-building event. If there's nothing else, you should head back first. I'll go home later tonight. No sooner had I finished speaking than a newly hired male intern walked over. Sister Luna, aren't you leaving yet? The moment Bruno saw the intern, his face darkened. Luna, who is he? Hello, I'm the new intern at Sister Luna's company. My name is Sam. And you are? Sam politely extended his hand, but Bruno slapped it away. Bruno stared at him warily, then questioned me in a sharp tone. An intern? You never mentioned him before. I frowned. Why would I tell you about the new interns at my company? All right. If there's nothing else, go home. My impatient attitude made Bruno's expression grow darker. I gestured for Sam to leave with me, but Bruno blocked our path. You're going with him? Alone? I met Bruno's gaze. Bruno, what are you implying? There's a new hire. We're having a group team building. It's our company's tradition. What exactly are you suspicious about? No, I won't allow it. You must come home with me right now. As he spoke, Bruno stepped forward and grabbed my arm. Sam immediately pulled him away and stood in front of me. Seeing Sam's stance, Bruno clenched his teeth. Move aside. She's my girlfriend. The commotion grew loud, and a crowd of onlookers gathered. Sam deliberately raised his voice. Even if she's your girlfriend, you don't get to control all of her personal time. We're just going to a company team building. It's not just the two of us alone. Sir, do you seriously not even have the most basic trust in your girlfriend? As people heard Sam's words, whispers spread. My coworkers also stepped forward to criticize Bruno. Luna is just attending a normal team building event with us. Even if you're her boyfriend, you should give her some personal space. Exactly. Suspicion is the biggest taboo in a relationship. You're a grown man. Why are you so sensitive and petty? I thought you loved Luna so much before. Now it just looks like you're overly controlling. Standing behind Sam, I watched Bruno's face grow more and more strained under the accusations. I couldn't help smiling. Bruno cared more than anything about his reputation. In the beginning, he'd used emotional manipulation to trap me in self-doubt, simply to make me be the one to propose a breakup. After all, the one who gets dumped is usually seen as the weaker party. Not to mention, Bruno had spent years carefully cultivating his image as a devoted boyfriend. Now, that image, his pride, had begun to crack. An ear-piercing ringtone broke the moment. As soon as Bruno answered the call, his expression changed drastically. He shoved his way out of the crowd and got into his car. Before leaving, Bruno only said one thing to me. Luna, we need to talk. Wait for me at home. The crowd gradually dispersed. I coldly watched the direction Bruno drove off, then let out a breath of relief. I thanked Sam. Sam shook his head shyly. It's nothing. I should be thanking you for recommending me to this company. It was just a small favor. And besides, it was a good deed. Sister Luna, what are you planning to do next? I shook my head. I don't need to step in anymore. Someone else will take care of him properly. I just need to wait and watch. I flagged down a taxi. Before getting in, I patted Sam on the shoulder and smiled. No matter what, today was really thanks to you. If I'm not around the company anymore, make sure to learn from the senior sisters I told you about. Until fate brings us together again. Chapter 7. I went home, packed up my things in a very short time, then took a taxi straight to the airport. I resigned from my job here and found a position in another city that perfectly matched my profession. With several years of work experience and a few outstanding projects under my belt, the salary they offered was even higher than before. While waiting to board, I received a message from Olivia. It was a video. Olivia stormed into Bruno's company, making a huge scene, claiming she was pregnant and demanding Bruno give her an explanation. She arrived right at quitting time. Not only company employees, but passers-by stopped to watch. Videos had already started circulating online. Several friends rushed over to ask me what was going on. I didn't reply to any of them. Olivia left me with only 2 lines. Bruno has nothing left now. He can only be mine. All those things you once fantasized about, forget them forever. I was in a rare good mood and couldn't be bothered to respond to Olivia. Watching them tear each other apart like rabid dogs genuinely made me happy. I blocked both Olivia and Bruno. I had gambled correctly. Olivia didn't just have emotions fueling her. She had a heart that loved Bruno to the extreme. After all, hiding their relationship for over a year without revealing a single trace online took real resolve, especially after listening in that cafe to how obsessively she'd loved Bruno back then. I became even more certain. She loved him too much. That was why, after Bruno reconciled with me, she finally went completely insane and demanded answers from him. All I needed was a small hint. A hint to Olivia that as long as Bruno still cared about his future, as long as he still valued his precious reputation, my position would never be shaken. Now, Olivia had personally torn apart the image Bruno had protected for so long, ruining his career at the company. Bruno had become a scumbag condemned by everyone online. No one would ever stand by his side again, and Olivia could finally have him all to herself. I had just landed. A call from an unfamiliar number came in. The moment I picked up, Bruno's panicked voice burst through. "Luna, listen to me, it's not what you think. That woman is a lunatic. A complete lunatic. She was my junior in high school, secretly in love with me for years. Now that she can't have me, she's framing me everywhere. Luna, why aren't you home? Where did you go? Luna, why aren't you saying anything? Who are you with? Answer me. Are you with that Sam? Are you cheating on me? I knew it. All those things before that could have made you misunderstand. I noticed you didn't care at all. Do you still love me, Luna? We were together for 5 years. Do you still love me?" By the end, Bruno's voice turned humble, almost pleading, as if he were begging me to say the word love. Unfortunately for him, I've never been a kind-hearted person. Anyone who bullies me, I always pay them back tenfold. I sighed softly. "Let's break up, Bruno." "I don't agree. I don't agree." I laughed lightly. "You don't agree? Bruno, you cheated. Your job was ruined by the mistress you slept with. The internet is full of your scandals. So tell me, what leverage do you still have to keep me? And besides, Bruno, you look exactly like a madman now. Suspicious of everything, doubting everyone. Aren't you tired? Go see a psychiatrist when you have time." I left Bruno with that final piece of advice and hung up. That phone call reminded me I'd overlooked one thing. Bruno was always best at building personas, and even better at lying and acting. Chapter 8. Bruno posted a new clarification video online. It was basically the same excuses he had fed me before, only now heavily embellished. "Everyone who knows me knows how much I loved my girlfriend. I would never betray her. My girlfriend and I met in college. We were together for 5 years. Paired with his exhausted appearance and aggressively convincing acting, the public opinion online really did begin to shift. Even a few of Bruno's friends came forward to defend him. Yeah, Bruno loved his girlfriend deeply, so deeply it was in his bones. At the end of the video, Bruno looked straight into the camera, eyes red. "Luna, stop being mad at me. Come back, okay? I really didn't know my junior Olivia would go this crazy. The child she's carrying has nothing to do with me. We haven't been in contact since high school." I watched the entire video expressionlessly. Even now, Bruno was still using his so-called love for me as a shield. That night, Bruno called again. This time, his tone was full of smug confidence. "Luna, you can't break up with me now. Otherwise, what would those netizens think of you? If you get cyberbullied, I'd feel really heartbroken too. And besides, the child in your belly still needs a father." I said nothing and hung up. The last piece of evidence in my hands had been saved precisely for this moment. To drag Bruno down from the pedestal of the devoted boyfriend harassed by a deranged admirer. The next day, another video detonated the internet. In the footage, Bruno and Olivia were entangled by the sea. Every word Bruno said was recorded, clear and complete. "Luna is still carrying my child. Everyone who knows me knows this. I have to take responsibility for her, or would I still be considered human if this got out?" The comments exploded. "So the kid is real? But he's only taking responsibility for the child while loving the mistress? Didn't he just cry yesterday about how deeply he loved Luna and beg her to come back? Who was that performance for? The Oscars owe this man a trophy. Where are those brothers who testified for him yesterday? Does your face hurt? Come out and walk a bit. So Luna was the clearest-headed and most miserable from start to finish. Betrayed, smeared, emotionally blackmailed with pregnancy and public opinion. Bruno never called me again, probably because all his information had been dug up. Dealing with endless harassment calls and messages already took up all his time. A week later, my mother wasn't feeling well. I caught the earliest flight home. My parents held my hands, their voices full of guilt. Luna, we're sorry. We didn't believe you before. We're old. Some things we really couldn't see as clearly as you young people. I shook my head and held their hands tightly. It's okay. We're family. My words were interrupted by a commotion at the hospital entrance. Chapter 9. Bruno dragged Olivia into the hospital. She struggled wildly. She even dropped to her knees. No, I can't go. I'm carrying your child. Bruno, you can't be this heartless. You can't abandon this baby. Bruno looked at her coldly. He hadn't taken care of himself for a long time. He looked disheveled. What are you? Luna is carrying my child. That's my real blood. Olivia stared at him in disbelief. She went mad, clawing at Bruno's collar. You're still thinking about her. You're still thinking about her. She burst into laughter. Bruno, look at yourself. Who would want you now? Except me. Except me. No one loves you more than I do. Bruno shoved Olivia to the ground, disgust written all over his face. You're completely insane. Some friends had told me about Bruno's situation these past few days. Fired from his company, blacklisted within the industry, cursed by the entire internet. He didn't even dare leave his house anymore. But Olivia showed up at his doorstep every single day. Bruno had called the police countless times. Each time, Olivia pulled out photos from their past dates. In the end, nothing ever came of it. Olivia was even crazier than I'd imagined. I turned to leave with my parents, but Bruno spotted me first. Luna! Luna! Is that you? He pushed through the crowd, rushed over, and dropped to his knees. Luna, you're still carrying my child. Can you not leave me? I signaled to my parents that everything was fine and asked them to go see the doctor first. Bruno looked utterly broken. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have cheated. I shouldn't have doubted you so many times after we got back together. I curved my lips into a faint smile and cut off his useless confession. I bent down and spoke softly. Bruno, actually, the very day we got back together, I went and terminated the pregnancy myself. Bruno jerked his head up. What did you say? Then why did you? Because I wasn't willing to accept it. Why should I, the real victim, become the one blamed? The one hurt the most? Bruno, all your suspicions were right. I didn't care about you, so I believed every excuse you gave. I didn't love you, so I didn't care who you were with. Bruno, doesn't this scene feel familiar to you? His face turned deathly pale. His lips trembled, but no words came out. Living every day doubting everything, being tortured by emotions, being despised by someone who once loved you for being too sensitive, too suspicious, mentally unstable, and not believed by anyone around you. Bruno, have you forgotten you did all of this to me? You hid Olivia so perfectly that I couldn't find a single trace of her, and instead, I lived every day drowning in self-doubt. How do you think I survived during that time? I straightened up and looked at Bruno coldly. At this point, everything was already settled. There was nothing left worth saying. Suddenly, the crowd erupted into chaos. Oh no! She's bleeding badly. Hurry! Someone get a doctor. The surging crowd completely separated Bruno and me. By the time Bruno got back on his feet and tried to find me again, I had already disappeared. I took my parents to settle in the city where I live now. I sold off all the necklaces and jewelry Bruno had once given me. When I saw the several $100,000 in cash finally in hand, I let out a long breath of relief. I bought a home in the new city. Life became calm and peaceful, until my birthday the following year, when my Weibo account received a private message from an unfamiliar account. Happy birthday. Attached was a photo of a cake that was almost melting. The lettering on the cake was crooked and uneven, clearly handmade. I didn't reply. I deleted my old Weibo account. Olivia's Weibo was never updated again. After that day, Olivia suffered a massive hemorrhage and miscarried, nearly losing her life. When she woke up, her entire family latched onto Bruno. Her mother, in particular, demanded compensation, threatening to take him to court if he refused. Bruno had lost his job. No one in the industry would hire him anymore. Now he could only scrape by doing food delivery. But none of that had anything to do with me anymore. I received notice that my company was sending me to France on assignment. Soon, I wouldn't even be in the country. Outside the window, sunlight bathed the new city. It streamed through the bright glass, filling the room. I put down my phone, walked to the window, and took a deep breath of air that smelled of freedom. All the past mire, the lies, the deceit, the harm, had finally been completely washed away. And Luna's new life, at this very moment, had truly begun.